going live.
Excellent.
Hello and welcome to the Tradinformed Excel Trading Model live stream. We are here today. We're going to be testing and trading on using our Excel trading model. We're going to be testing it and trading it through the MT5 MetaTrader 5 terminal. We've got some new things coming up today, and we're going to look at some new strategy ideas. We're going to look at some new broker things that we have found out, and so I am really looking forward to this session. With me this
Yes.
morning is Ren Vallow. How are you today, Ren?
Good, Mark. Good morning. How you doing?
I'm good as well, thank you.
Good. Good. Well, hopefully the markets hold up for us. It looks a little shaky out there. We had a good day yesterday, but turnaround Tuesday, it might be the wrong direction.
Yeah, that
And
can happen. Yeah, a lot can happen after we had triple witching, didn't we, on
yes,
Friday, and that always messes things around. Sometimes it can, usually, in fact, the pattern is it tends to weaken the markets, but when things are already a bit messed up, sometimes it can cause a strengthening and it can get things, the seasonal routines out of sync. So let's see what happens today. But anyway,
yeah,
we are going to be testing and trading in the Forex market today. We have
yep.
been testing and trading using the Euro US dollar, the most liquid Forex pair, hugely widely traded. But today I have mixed things up very slightly and I've gone to cable GBP USD
Cool. Okay.
just for a bit of a change, and we'll see what the results show. So on the bottom left hand side of the screen you can see the trading model.
Yep.
Looks pretty much the same as normal, but I have made a couple of changes, in particular to the market that we're looking at. We're looking at cable today and to our strategy too. So I'll explain more about that in a moment. And I'm just going to very quickly look at the settings. So the only real difference that I have made today, and I had a look at this earlier this morning, was I have whacked out the profit target. So there were a few trades which were really big multiples of the bar size, which is how the ATR is measured at the start. And so I've whacked that up to 12, and we'll see if that helps the
Hmm.
strategy as we come into a bit more liquidity as the US stock market opens. We'll see what sort of reaction we'll have in the Forex market, and we'll see how it goes. So we've got about 5 minutes. We're a little bit late starting today. We've got about 5 minutes until 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, New York time, when the stock market opens.
Wow.
So, Ren, any thoughts?
Well, I'm pretty impressed with the trading that's happened this morning so far. I can see it's a really smooth P&L chart going up, and our profit loss. So we're taking a very small loss, but looking for a little bit larger profit. So that looks like a good strategy.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, so we've got a 12 ATR target and just a 3 stop loss. In fact, I'll play around with that in a moment. We can have a look at the settings in real time. I was actually trying a 1 ATR stop loss, so it's getting us
Oh
out
wow.
really quickly. I
Yeah.
don't often use that, but I do think there are some advantages for certain types of strategy, in particular because it really reassures me that the entry system is
Yep.
sharp and it's timing the markets nicely.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's a good point because yeah, it's gonna if it's not correct and it reverses the smallest amount, it's gonna jump right out.
Yeah, it doesn't work with every type of strategy, every type of entry system, but anyway, we'll have a look at that in a moment. So, Ren, you were just referring to the P&L charts. So I'm going to zoom in here. Those of you watching on the live stream, welcome. Feel free to jump in with any questions in the chat and we'll be happy to answer those. I've got an Excel model here, standard Excel model. What we've done though is we have hooked it up to the MetaTrader 5 terminal, which is hugely widely used across the world, and we've found it's working really well. Ren's going to talk a bit more about that in a moment, but I'm just going to look at the P&L chart here. So sloping nicely upwards, and excuse me, that's what we want to see. So it was actually looking a bit better earlier, so let's see if we can keep reclaiming that. We're on 51% winning trades. Our average winning trade is
Yep.
not far off double the size of our average losing trade in our theoretical dollar analysis here. Now I'll just zoom in a little bit more. So if you're watching this on a small monitor, you can see what I'm talking about. You can see here we've got a running total. It's going to keep changing as trades drop off the back of our sample and new trades are added at the beginning.
Yeah, yeah, I can see it. Yeah, it's pretty clear. And what is our time frame again today, Mark? Are we doing the
Oh,
5 or 15 second?
yes, that's a great question. Remember, on the 5 second time frame. So this is to get some action. It's not our recommended time frame, but it's to get some action for the purposes of this live stream. So we want people to see this, the model taking trades. I'll
Yep.
show you those in a moment. Whoop, we just plunged there.
Wow.
Looking at the chart, this is the top left-hand corner. We've just plunged a little bit. No doubt something reflecting what's going on in the stock market. If we see the dollar strengthening, which is when the GBP USD would fall, it's probably going to be reflected in stocks. I think that's
Yeah.
a pretty safe assumption this morning, at least.
Yeah, I think so. So it's a rough start to the morning. I heard there was like very hawkish remarks from the different Federal Reserve banks. So
Yeah, the Fed's doing something again. They bookended a very nice period of recovery, didn't they? A really strong bounce with was it
yep.
Jackson Hole, and everything went a bit pear-shaped after that. So let's see what they're saying now. They're up against it though, because there was a pretty worrying CPI number came out of the US, didn't it, the other week? So
Yes.
let's see what they're going to do about that. They're going to talk tough, at least.
Yeah, I agree. And I think Germany just had some really bad CPI numbers come out as well.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I think
Did
that's
they?
probably
Right. Okay.
yeah.
So anyway, yeah, so I'm looking at strategy two. Now I have made some
Yeah.
changes to strategy two as well. I've done a few little things that are different if you've seen any of our previous live streams. So strategy two, it used to be our mean reversion strategy, but I have switched it up. I've changed it around basically, and it is now buy on consecutive higher or lower closes. So if I scroll in here, bottom left of your screen, it's just a normal Excel spreadsheet. You can flick things on and off using a checkbox.
Yep.
So strategy two, it's literally that. So you can imagine here that I've got the number 3 in here, which means if we're looking at long trades, we have 3 consecutive higher closes, we will enter. And if I switch that number, that's the bell. Stock market is
Yep.
open. Let's see what happens. So I'm very quickly going to continue explaining this. So that is 3 consecutive higher closes. Has to be 3 in a row, at which point we will enter. But it also will respond to, I'm going to get out of that. It's going to respond to, if I set that to -3, it will be 3 consecutive lower closes. So we have got the flexibility to buy on strength. Whoops. Look what's happened to our P&L chart. Not ideal.
Wow. That did not work.
So 3 consecutive higher closes. In fact, that's nice. There's a nice mirror image. I'm actually quite happy to see that in a way.
Yeah.
It may well be that the consecutive lower closes need a slightly different profile of profit target to stop loss, but
Yeah, the 12-3 didn't work for that
it did
one.
not work, no. So let's scroll out of here. Apologies if you're watching it on a small screen. So you can see me change the numbers and you'll be able to watch the capital graph update in real time. So if I set that to 4, it's going to just take a
Still pretty
moment.
good. Yeah.
There we go. So that's 5, 6, 7. Not many trades there. Go back to 3. I'll switch it to 2 consecutive higher closes, and then just 1. Pretty
Right.
much
And one
almost
is based,
random. It looks almost random, which is
it
pretty much
does.
what I would expect. So we've got some more flexibility built into it. The fact that 3 or -3 doesn't work is mildly interesting, but I wouldn't draw any conclusions either. I can go the other way, -1, -2, -3. We've already seen -4, suggesting that cable GBP USD in the current market conditions is trending. So it's favoring the trends. It's not whipsawing about as much. Different market conditions will need different strategies.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah. So that's one change I've made. I'm going to have to say I've made one other change here, Ren. I haven't told you about this, and it is not
Excellent.
reflected in the trades that we're actually taking on the terminal, but I wanted to have a look at short trades as well
Excellent.
because we've been in a short trading environment. Now, this is only in the simulated environment, these short trades, but I can switch them on and off. And I'll zoom in again, bottom left-hand side of your screen. Just a normal Excel spreadsheet. If you're used to Excel, you'll find this really easy to use. Change the checkbox there, and you will see we lose all our short trades. And if I then scroll over here, you see we've got a different profile. We've just got
Yeah,
the long trade shown there.
gotcha. So the original one we were looking at did have short trades included.
It did. Yes, it did.
Excellent. Okay,
I thought I
gotcha.
would drop that on you.
Yep, cool. Yeah,
So I was just trying to play around with it. I wanted to see if we can do something different for the live stream, and
yeah,
I think it's working reasonably well at least.
I'll say.
So
Yeah.
Ren, can you tell us a bit more about MetaTrader 5?
Oh yeah, so MetaTrader 5. Okay, so we've connected the MetaTrader 5 up like we had originally done with Rhythmic in the past. And so we're pulling our data from MetaTrader 5 into the Excel spreadsheet, making the trading decisions in Excel, and you can watch it happen in the live terminal. And then sending that data back to MetaTrader 5 when we have any indications on their Excel sheet. So that's been working really well. And one of the challenges was for both Mark and I getting set up so that we could get real live data. Now, so calling in the US, when you install MetaTrader 5, they give you all of those currency pairs and the S&P futures for free. So you get that when you install it. Even if you didn't even give them an email address, that becomes part of the platform. So you'll get that. And what I wanted to do is try it in a real live trading environment. And what I found out was a lot of our brokerages in the US don't support the currency pairs that we see from the Forex market in MetaTrader 5 with that quote stream. So typically what you're going to have to do is a lot of the brokers, if you have a funded account, will offer the data stream for free via their data provider, not the MetaTrader 5 data provider. So they connected up on their side. My broker offers different data providers. So they were recommending CQG as the data provider for MetaTrader 5. So that connection was fine. The only thing that they don't support is the currency pairs at CQG. So I'm able to do the futures markets, the stock markets, any individual stocks that I want to get, all for going in through the data provider that my brokerage has. So slightly different, but depending on your broker, it will depend on what actual data you can get for MetaTrader 5. And it looks like a lot of brokers, if not most of them, except for the really big ones like TD Ameritrade, will support MetaTrader 5. So it's really data dependent on your brokerage firm and what they support versus just what we see when we first download the platform. So hopefully that's helpful.
Yeah, but it is helpful. Yeah, I mean, we've said before, MetaTrader 5 is, I used it quite a few years ago, then I uninstalled it and I haven't used it for years until we were doing exactly the same system here, but we were running it through Rhythmic, our trader, and
Yep.
had a few challenges with that. Basically, we were using their Excel connection. What we've done here
Yep.
is do something a bit different in that we've connecting directly through an API. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Ren. Connecting
Correct. Yep.
directly to the servers, and we're streaming the data indirectly. If we have a signal, for example, a buy signal or a sell signal, that signal comes directly from the Excel spreadsheet to the servers, to the MetaTrader 5 servers.
Yep. So that API opens up the data stream that MetaTrader has. They just open it up to us so we can just pull that data right down into Excel. And what's nice about that is using an API versus like a DDE type interface, we can do whatever we want in MetaTrader 5 and it doesn't impact the data stream going to Excel. That is independent of you playing around in MetaTrader. One of the things that we had issues with those DDE type interfaces, which MetaTrader 4 supports and Rhythmic supports, is that when you change the platform, the data stream would then change. So if you change your time frame in the platform on the chart, say from like the 5 minute to the hourly, it would also change the data stream going to Excel from 5 minutes to an hourly. But with this API connection, the data stream is separate, so you can do whatever you want in MetaTrader 5, look at all the charts, change charts. It doesn't impact the data at all. So the data is still happening, the trades will still happen. That runs independently now of, it's basically having a direct data connection to Excel to the market, as opposed to what we were doing before was using the platform to send the data to us.
Yeah, so the data was going from the server previously. Data was going from the server to the terminal to Excel,
Yep.
and doing trades that way. We've cut out the middleman. Is that right?
Yeah, basically. I mean,
And
basically, we're just accessing the data that MetaTrader's accessing
yes,
in its own little pipe.
yeah. So it's the same data coming in at the same rate and coming straight into Excel. We're using Excel's calculation, Excel's all the analytical tools, the power of Excel to decide when we're entering and exiting the trades in particular, but also to calculate all the technical indicators, calculate the strategy conditions. So if you're used to Excel, you're used to working with spreadsheets, you like visual results, and as I'm saying that, I'm scrolling up here, you can see a visual printout when you get used to it. See, we get a trade here, long trade signal, and a trade exit here, signaled by a reversal, and we get an equal and opposite short trade taken on at the same time. You can see it
Yep.
visually, you can scan through significant list of trades, but that isn't all that this offers, is it either? I mean, the whole thing all the way from the beginning, that's what I spend most of my time doing, strategy development, building
Yep.
strategies, testing strategies, optimizing them, backtesting them, and I do most of that work in Excel. And this spreadsheet, when it's in its full form in particular, is going to be designed expressly for that, for you to design, build, backtest, optimize, do all that stuff, flick a button, and then connect directly to the live stream, as Ren is just describing, and take those trades exactly the way that you have tested it and programmed it to.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. It's great that you can do it and you can see how it works. And like we said in previous streams, it's not a black box where a lot of these trading algorithms are black boxes where you have a program, you turn it on and it runs. Here you get to see what's happening on the Excel sheets. You can see every row and column of data, how it's being calculated, how your indicator's working, all of those things, it's kind of like having more control.
It is exactly that, isn't it? Yeah, every single, even though we're looking at the 5 second time frame, which is practically impossible to follow on a chart for a person, a computer can do it, but for an individual, you just cannot do that. But here we can see it, and not only that, we can see a printout of the past. Well, we're using 1,000 rows. You can look at the past 1,000 bars. When you're in backtesting mode, you can test as many rows as you want within the capacity of your system and the Excel installation, but you can test a lot more rows as well.
Absolutely.
So we're just chugging away. It's pointing upwards still, the capital graph. That's nice to see. And
Yeah, it's
we're
working really
and
well.
if I go back onto the terminal, pointed out top left hand side of the screen, we're taking trades. So every one of these green lines is a trade. So the signals are being very quickly replicated from the Excel model and replicated in the terminal. And have I got this right, Ren? That the signals are actually, the trades are actually going on somewhere in the server, and then they're just being beamed back to here to say there's a trade open.
Yep, that's basically true. Yeah, so we're sending in the trades to MetaTrader. They're recording the trade for us, and yeah, you're just seeing the results on your chart. And there's different ways to display your trades too. You can have it like that with a line, or you can have it with an arrow up and down. I've played around with that too. It's a pretty powerful platform.
Yeah, the only reason I switched off the arrows is because we're just going to have too many trades and it's going to get messy. But that's because we're doing it for not quite for kicks, but we're doing it for excitement, to show you, to demonstrate that we are opening and closing trades all the time here on the 5 second time frame, testing out the strategies, effectively we're forward testing a strategy, which is something you can very easily do with this setup as well. You can sit
Yes.
here on an account. We're just using a demo account here. Any account you want. If you prefer to use your live account, you can use, some brokers will let you trade tiny position sizes, and you can actually be using real market data, real market execution, and it's a heck of a lot cheaper than doing it at full position size. And plus you can
Yep.
sit here, you can watch it, and you can understand what's going on.
Absolutely. Yeah. It makes it really easy to see how well your strategy is forward testing as compared to the back test.
Yeah, exactly.
And it looks,
So I'm
really,
actually just looking at this. Out of interest, I'm going to just quickly flick on to the ES here, and this is going to have a look at what the this is the S&P futures, or a CFD based on the S&P 500 futures. Yeah,
yep.
that's showing a bit of a sell-off. If I go onto the daily candle, we can see
Yeah.
we are testing support as we speak at the moment,
Yep.
and we're testing it pretty hard, I think it's fair to say. If I look at the Nasdaq, we're going to see a very similar picture. Again, we
Yes.
are testing support here, and we're going to look for the market to push back up. That is reflected. Let's go back here again. Top left hand side of your screen, you will see the cable GBP USD that we are still trading. I should say, and we were just looking at. But this is the daily time frame. So if you want to have some control over some higher control over your strategy, which has been automatically implemented by Excel, regardless of what we do here, you can do that. So this is the just going to pull in the data. That's the 4-hour time frame. We can look at the hourly time frame here. We've actually got a pretty similar picture to the to equity markets, haven't we?
It does look very
Because
similar.
it's
Yeah.
been dollar driven. Everything is dollar driven at the moment.
It looks very similar, actually. Yeah. Wow. A lot of correlation in the markets right now. And usually I don't think that's a great thing when the markets are moving lower.
Yeah. There's
We're
one
seeing a
more I'm
lot.
going to have a look at, actually. That's Bitcoin. I know there's a lot of people
Yes, the Bitcoin
looking at
market.
Bitcoin. Let's see. We pushed up to 22,000. We're back down, and at support at the moment. Let's zoom out just slightly. So Bitcoin looking for all the world as though it's going to test support again.
Yep.
We'll see what happens in that. Could we
Yeah.
run this spreadsheet using Bitcoin and other cryptos, Ren?
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Anything that your broker is able to get you data for. So that would definitely be an option. Bitcoin is definitely an option.
Yeah, so Bitcoin. This here, I mean, we've got, just going to go over here. Energy is obviously in focus at the moment. This is crude oil. Dr. Copper here. Again, everything denominated in dollars looks exactly the same. Let's look at Aussie. Yeah. Ow. So, it's just caught up. Yeah, it's a similar picture. So there looks to me there are a lot of markets that can be exploited with the right type of strategy at the moment, but it is difficult for people who are not robots, which is all of us, I suppose, to do that without some sort of system to back you up. And this is what you get in the system that we're demonstrating today.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have a lot more control. And again, you were just demonstrating how you can flip through the different markets on MetaTrader, and it's not impacting our trading on Excel at all. It's still trading as we're working in MetaTrader. It's trading away.
Exactly. Yeah. So, the reason I'm going through this is just to have a look at it. It's nice to have the platform available here. We can have a look at the trades we've got open. We can, if we go back to cable, we can go on a smaller time frame. We can see, bang, we're still opening trades here. We've got a new line opened up here. Still following the strategy, but we can have a look round. If we didn't, for any reason, we didn't fancy trading this market, we can switch to a different market. We can look for relative strength. A lot of people do that. I like the principle as well. Trading the best markets, trading the best markets long, trading the weakest markets short, but using a smaller time frame. So you've got the
Absolutely.
advantage of multi-time frames plus the advantage of automation, all done in Excel.
Yeah, it looks like your new strategy too, though, doesn't seem to mind if the market's going up or down. It's doing quite well.
Well, as we said, I think it's something to do with the market conditions at the moment. I bet you there will be times when the mean reversion. This is the opposite of mean reversion. This is buying on strength and selling on
Yep.
weakness, and I bet you there will be times when the opposite is true. There will be different markets when it will work better as well. Euro US dollar has always been my favorite. I mean, of course, you get the lowest spreads as well, you get the most
Yes,
liquidity,
really.
and all that, but also it just tended to trend really, really nicely over
Yep.
the
And
years.
it looks like it's still doing it too. It's
And it
absolutely,
does, yeah. The only reason I switched to cable this morning was just to have a look, and I would suspect if I was to try more or less any of those markets, we'll be seeing a pretty similar story.
yep, I agree. Yeah, it's just the P&L chart looks amazing on this thing. It's just going up. And I guess that's mostly because of the short trades here. Like if you take the short trades off just for a moment, just to see what that looks like, it looks like the short trades really have enhanced the strategy a little bit.
That you would expect them to, yeah. You would certainly hope there, but that's the thing as well, isn't it? Sometimes you're going to want strategies that work in both directions. There is a nice symmetry
Yep.
to that, but sometimes you're going to want to take an overview, be the coach, take an overview, and say this market I'm
Yep.
only trading long, another market I'm only trading short, or this
Yep.
market condition. So you have all that control, and you can just use, like I've said before, you can just use Excel checkboxes and to control all of this.
Yep. Well, very
So
good, Mark. Thank you for introducing us to a new strategy today. That's pretty cool.
yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks, Ren. Yeah, I was.
Super
It's
excited.
now our strategy too has changed a couple of times. In fact, I think
Yes.
you mentioned it before. I think one of your friends has said, "What
Yes.
about reversing the strategy?" Very, very easy to do.
That was Montana's idea. I gave him the assignment to add that into the strategy. I haven't heard back from him since, but
Okay, so all we are doing is buying on consecutive higher highs, or consecutive lower closes, depending on how we set it.
yep.
Um,
Excellent.
so once again, I would anybody that is on the live stream, please ask us any questions, any thoughts that you have about what we're doing today. Really moving on fast at the moment. Ren, you've looked into brokers in the US. I've looked into brokers outside of the US. The regulations in the US tend to work out that the US market, tend to be focused on US clients. Some of the other brokers tend to focus on other areas, for example, the UK within the
Yes.
EU. Australia, they've got a lot
A
of
lot.
brokers offering MetaTrader 5. In fact,
Yes.
I've got a list actually, so I'm just going to bring that up of some of the ones that I found. So the first thing I would say is a lot of brokers still do not offer MetaTrader 5, but there is a lot of whispers saying that some of the big ones are going to be introducing it soon. Why they're not currently offering, I'll be happy to if somebody would explain that to me. But there we go. But there is still some brokers which look pretty good to me. Um, Pepperstone, which I believe is an Australian one, but it is regulated in the UK, EU,
Yep.
Cyprus, I think, and Australia. Admiral's Markets, they've got some deal with MetaTrader 5. They're UK, EU, Australia, South Africa. FX Pro, got no association with any of these companies, but these are ones that I've looked at that look well regulated in jurisdictions outside the US.
Yes.
Markets.com and Swissquote. If you are in the UK, anywhere in the EU, Australia, South Africa, I suggest having a look at some of these brokers and seeing whether they're regulated in the country that you live in, because that is always a good thing to
Yeah.
get. You want to have it well regulated, generally speaking, in the country where you live in. We found some differences between the US and the rest of the world, but that's pretty normal. I think US
Yeah.
brokers have a slightly different, possibly they have a slightly different business model, they have slightly different customs and norms, and that's what US customers want. But the key point is MT5, MetaTrader 5 is available
Yep.
just about everywhere as far as
It is.
we can find.
And I added AMP Global to your list as well. That's my brokerage. They do offer it all around the world. So they're just regulated in the different countries that they've listed in. So that's another one we can utilize. So here in the U.S., they don't particularly like the currency pairs are not their specialty, but they do offer that in Europe and Australia. So those areas they're doing currency pairs. So it really
Yeah.
depends on where you are, but some brokerages have like registrations in a lot of different countries, and depending on how the data feeds are and the regulation, they may offer different markets.
That's exactly the case. Yeah, it's exactly the case. The different subsidiaries offer different platforms as well, actually, in different
Yep.
countries. So that's absolutely right. But the key thing is that wherever you live, if this is something that you think would be interested to you, get in touch with us and we'll be happy to help you out wherever. If you're based in the US, you're based outside the US, we will be able to help you out if this is something that you think you would like to use. In the meantime, and regardless of any of that, you can actually download. I haven't even said it once today. You can download this model or a very similar one for free. Link below this video. Download it for free. You can get practically unlimited demo accounts from a multitude of brokers, and
Yes,
you can try it out for yourself and see what you
yes,
think.
and here in the
No,
U.S.,
it's not like with Rhythmic when you get 2 weeks and after that they will block you forever.
right?
You can have lots and lots of, you can open multiple demo accounts. You have no restrictions on that account.
Absolutely. And in the US market, they let you have an unlimited demo account just for the data. You can't do any real trading, but you can do simulated paper trading for it seems like an unlimited amount of time. So far, I haven't seen any limits.
Mm. That
So,
varies from broker to broker from what I've
yeah,
seen, but yeah, some brokers just let you have as much time as you want as long as you're active, you're placing trades in your demo, your paper trading account. So
yep.
we've only tested strategy 2. I think we're going to end this live stream fairly soon. So anybody who's got any comments, thoughts, whatever. Oh, it's Ben. Hi, Ben. When you release when you release this premium edition, will it be a one-off payment or would it like be a subscription per month, etc.? That is a good question. Ben, it will likely be a subscription model not because we're desperate to have control over everybody's trading, but because this sort of thing will need regular updating, and that is the role that we would like to make sure we're doing properly. We don't want people to have this, run into difficulties, and we're not able to support it if we do it on a one-off basis. So really for the benefit, if you're looking to trade on this over a period of time, I think you will appreciate being able to get support for a start, strategy support, and also the technical details going on in the background. We will be
Yeah.
making sure things are running smoothly. Do you have anything to add to that, Ren?
No, I agree. Yeah. So it's a constant. There's always little things with software. The APIs can change. So it would be better to, keep it monthly, keep it updated and make sure everything's working throughout the time that you're using it. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So subscription will be easy to open, it will be easy to cancel. So you'll still have full control of the process, but if you want to be trading this in the live markets, we would really like to be there to help you through. To be there, you can drop an email to us if you need support in any process, any part of the process, including strategy development and backtesting, which is what I spend most of my time doing. And Ren, I know that you spend a lot of your time on the development side, so you'll be there keeping an eye
Yep.
on that aspect of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. To keep it up to date. Well, thanks
Okay,
for the
so I hope
question.
that helps, Ben and anybody else. I think we're going to end today's live stream. any more comments, any more thoughts, put them in the chat and we'll be happy to answer. But I think demonstration, I'm just going to zoom onto here very quickly, have a look at the capital graph again.
Yeah.
It's headed up nicely. Strategy 2 with its slightly different configuration has performed well. Let's have a quick look at strategy 1 actually.
Yeah, let's do that, Mark.
I
I'm
have
curious. I'm sure it's not going to be so pretty.
yeah, I have no idea here. So
Let's
let's
take a
go.
look. Well, thanks again for like bringing a new strategy to us. That is really exciting. Oh wow.
There we go. So that's strategy 1. That's our normal strategy.
So
Um,
the percentage winning trades was a lot lower, but it looks like because of our higher profit targets, we did well.
yeah. So
Yeah, so we have a very low percentage winning trade, but we did very well overall. That looks really this looks really well. This is a nice one too.
yeah,
45%.
this is this is more or less the setup we had last week on
Yes.
when we did last week's live stream. We had the same um, ratio, profit target to stop loss. We're using the ATR.
Yep.
We're using the same time cutoff, which is a nice way to do it, to have a time cutoff to make sure your position is doing its job and you're not just leaving it in there, which is easy for all of us to do. So yeah, that's strategy 1. That's not bad, and that's long and short, and we haven't seen that much before. So
I think that's
yeah,
the big difference between this week and last week. If you take off the short trades here, I bet it's going to look a lot different. So last week we were just doing long trades, right? So this is the first time we've introduced that. So it's definitely made the strategy more robust.
okay, yeah, I think so as well, especially on this sort of time frame, the 5-second time frame. We're not recommending it. We're doing it for just to demonstrate what the system can do. Well, we've
Yes.
had a ton of trades. We can see it by all these
Ooh, oh my
lines going on here, which is nice to see.
God.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Ren. Great to have you
Yeah,
here as
thank you,
always.
Mark.
So I think we're going
That's
to end
exciting.
the live stream, and I think we'll be doing another one next week, and hopefully we'll be, if you're not already on the list, the email list, I suggest get on the email list and we will let you know as soon as there are some new developments. Things are happening, things are coming along thick and fast at the moment, so get on that list and you will be in the loop. Plus you can
I'm
download a
excited to
version
trade
of
this
this
one.
and do it yourself.
So thanks, Mark. I really appreciate it. I'm excited to trade this long short strategy now. It's looking good.
Okay, great. All right then, Ren. Yeah, great to speak to you, and
You too.
we will see. We'll have another one next week.
All right. Take care, Mark. Thank you.
Okay, bye bye.